My name is Petra Wolsey. I'm the Group Marketing Director for the Bianco Group. We own, amongst other things, the Merchant Hotel in Belfast, Bullet Hotel, and a few more besides. I left the University of Ulster with a Bachelor of the Arts under my arm and a burning desire not to be an artist. I did the classic thing that so many students do when they have left university and are having a kind of a moment of doubt, go into the hospitality industry. And I had been a waiter for many years prior to being in university, and actually whilst I was in uni I became one of the duty managers in the business. This was actually Tattoo Bar and Grill. And then something rather serendipitous happened from my perspective at least, not for the other people involved, but Bill, my husband who owns the business, had a bit of a falling out with the people who were doing the PR and the marketing at the time. And Bill, in his very pragmatic approach to these things, he took myself, he knew I had a degree in art, and he knew another girl had a degree in English. And at this stage, Bill and I weren't together. He said, you're doing the marketing now. Right, okay. We have zero experience on that front, that's fine, you'll figure it out. Okay, so I think we were on an immediate and very steep learning curve, but it was a lot of fun. Well, I've been in the Bianco Group or as it was back in the day, Bianco Limited, for 18 years now. But the company was started by my husband Bill nearly 40 years ago, with one pub down in Bangor, and we've obviously grown considerably since that point. I suppose in terms of the mission of the Bianco Group, broadly speaking, it's always to deliver a really top quality product, regardless of what demographic we're aiming for. So now the company is of a size that we have a variety of businesses, and each of them with their own clear mission statement and brand. That would be one of the things I'm particularly passionate about, is the crafting of a brand. Laughs. It's like everything in this life. It has its pros and cons. I think we work really well together. I think we're lucky. We're both quite pragmatic. I'm a senior member of the team, so it's not like there's no boss dynamic there, although Bill would like to think otherwise. I think it's a healthy way to do things, because in a way, because we know each other so well, we can cut through a lot of shall we say BS. You know, it's an efficient way to get things done, and I think he's a really good sounding board for me, and I'm a really good sounding board for him. So we have a lot of trust in each other's opinions, which is a really useful thing. It's good. The balance of being a mum and being professional is definitely a tricky one, there's no doubt about that. I think probably I manage it with the requisite dollop of guilt, but I also know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm a better mum to Caelan because I work. I'm just not built that way, and I'm full of admiration for, I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world to be a stay-at-home mum. It's blooming hard work being a working mother as well. The moment you've got a little person in the equation, whether you're in salaried work or working mum, i.e. stay-at-home mum, it's going to be a challenge. It just is, and a great joy. For someone to become a great leader, they need a kind of heady alchemy of immense drive, coupled with, and this is where it gets rare, not too much ego. Because I think part of the success of the Bianco Group, and in no small part, is the fact that Bill, although he'll grumble about it like mad, he's extremely good at taking on other people's opinions. I mean, obviously people that he trusts and people that, you know, we've had the luxury of working with really good people for a really long time, both inside and outside of the family. I mean, as a group, the Bianco group attracts and keeps good people. We buck industry trends, which is gratifying. Hopefully that means we're doing the right things. But I think that's part of it. I think from my perspective, one of the most crucial things in working life, and indeed every facet of your life, is communication. Having good channels of communication and driving that forward all the time to make sure that all your team are on the same page. What I'm looking for is someone that is sufficiently hungry to get the job, that they have researched what the job is. I am often gobsmacked by how ill-prepared people are in interview. I find it shocking. And beyond that, I think skill sets are important, but I think it's very hard to teach enthusiasm. Golden rule, always employ people better than you. I have an immensely talented team behind me, and I'm extremely grateful for their hard work. And it's taken a while to get the right people into the team, and they are kick-ass. Again, not just in leadership, but in everyday life. Walk a mile in my shoes is a useful one. Try and see the other person's perspective. I suppose it's like any human being, it's having the courage of your convictions and doing your research to think about what company you want to work with and who's going to support you in your career aspirations, and being sensible from the outset. I do think researching that kind of thing, particularly when you're starting off your career, that's a really useful thing to do, is to think about that side of things. And whilst you may say that that's a luxury, you're going to be doing this job for a hell of a long time. So even if it's something that you're aspiring to, rather than getting there in the first job that you start, I just think that's worth thinking about. I don't ever feel like I'm not on a steep learning curve. I think because our company is so dynamic and we're always on the move, we're always doing new things, that means I'm always learning new things. I suppose in terms of how I've been lucky, right back in the day was that anecdote that I gave you earlier on. Not so lucky for the other company, but when Bill plucked myself and this other girl, Orla, from the team to look at the marketing, because it wasn't a career I had ever considered for myself. And I guess that was a very lucky break, really. Where, as a company, we're extremely strong is we have an innate understanding and ability to create a brand, create a big personality for that brand, and stay true to that brand always, and always craft strategies and marketing plans that will be appropriate and suitable and just help the business to flourish. I have a couple. I think there's a girl called, I'm terrible on her name, but I follow her on Instagram. I think she's called Sonia Glynn Nicholson. There's another girl called Esther Queck, and then the inimitable Iris Apfel. And I think part of what's so impressive about all those women is they're real peacocks. They're flamboyant and elegant, and they just add a bit of colour. There's no drab there. And I think that's really commendable. And I love the fact that Iris I think she's maybe even in her 90s now, and that's no barrier to style. I'm a bit of a movie buff. I love going to the cinema. I love the QFT. It's wonderful. I don't get there frequently enough. Another thing I'm absolutely passionate about, but it's very seasonal, is to ski. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. We have been skiing for a long time now, and we've worked hard to become reasonably good, so we can cover a lot of ground pretty quickly. So it's great. My stepsons are incredibly competitive with one another, so having an app like Ski Tracks can get interesting, because then it gets very speedy. I think Luke's top speed thus far has been, I think it was nearly 80 miles an hour on the skis. My top speed is 55 miles an hour, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm never going to exceed it. I might die. As long as I'm warm and comfortable, and still not letting the style side down as best I can. I'm a happy bunny, although I'm only 5'3", so heels will always be a part of the equation. If I had to have something that I absolutely positively couldn't live without, it's an Estee Lauder product, and it's a double wear foundation, but it's designed to cover up port wine stains and stuff. For me, it's far too heavy for a foundation, but as a concealer, it is a killer. It's fabulous. Oh boy, this is a nightmare one. I have too many. I always think about, oh, why didn't I say that one? Oh, why did I have such a roster, but it would be extremely remiss of me not to say the original Star Wars trilogy, because I'm a total Star Wars nerd. Again, this is a really tricky one because I'm quite fickle with this too, but Richard E. Grant would be one, Stephen Fry would be another, Marilyn Monroe, needless to say. I think I would probably throw someone like Churchill into the mix. And then, oh, I don't know, let's have a real wild card, Napoleon. And it all started because I told Bill that I had a kind of on my bucket list was to do Route 66 on a Harley. I had, and also to explore other bits of the States. When I was 18 years old, Channel 4 did a documentary on the Sturgis 50th Rally, which is a huge Harley rally. I think it's in Nevada, and it just looks incredible, and I wanted a part of that lifestyle. And I had sort of shelved it, and then I think it spoke to something in Bill, and he wanted to get his bike license, and I thought, well, couldn't see green cheese. If he's getting his, I've got to get mine. So one thing led to another, got the bike licenses sorted out, but I've got a much cooler bike than he has. He's got an R9T BMW. I've got a Harley Davidson 883 super low like me. Has to be. So yeah, I guess the skiing is always fabulous. I'm never going to turn down a snow holiday. I love it. But I'm also uniquely privileged because Bill and I have a house in the south of France. We're renovating it at the minute, but it's down in Provence, and it's just a magical part of the world. It's a real joy to be there. So we try and get there every summer, and a lot of friends and family come and visit. So it's kind of a rolling caravan of different people, and Kaylin, our daughter, loves it and would have a lot of friends down there. It's a really beautiful part of the world, and we're in a natural park there, so it's all a big reserve, so lots of wildlife, and no real buildings around us or behind us, so it's a really good place to chill out and hide away from the world for a while.